Thanks for watching this video about Oregon Humanities Public Program grants and how to apply for them. I'm Dawn Smallman, a program manager at OH. I help manage our grants program, including helping people apply for grants who have questions, who need info, or would just like some assistance. If you have questions about your organization's eligibility for this grant, questions about the grant requirements, or how to fill out the grant application, Lucy and I are here to help. Here's some ways to reach out to me for assistance. You can email me at d.smallman@oregonhumanities.org, or you can call me at 503-241-0543, extension 110, to book time with me for a phone consultation. And before we dig into the details of this grant, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Lucy Solares-Steger, a member of our grants team, so she can tell you a bit about her role here and a little bit about the work we do at Oregon Humanities. Hi, Lucy.
Hola, hello. My name is Lucy Solares-Steger, and I am a program coordinator for Oregon Humanities. I provide general support across our programs, including database support and training, collaborative planning, running our letter exchange program, and more. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions, and I'll gladly have a chat or connect you to the right person at Oregon Humanities. The best way to reach me is via email. I have my personal email, which is l.solares@oregonhumanities.org. And I also oversee our grants email address, which is grants@oregonhumanities.org. So now I'll share a little bit about Oregon Humanities and our work. So we are the State Humanities Council associated with the National Endowment of the Humanities, which is a federal government agency created in 1965 to support the government's investment in American culture. Oregon Humanities brings Oregonians together across differences of background, experience, and belief. So each year, we as an organization offer hundreds of public conversations, participatory workshops, educational programs, and events. We train and support dozens of discussion facilitators who are available to help communities throughout Oregon. We award grants and fellowships to people and organizations doing exceptional cultural and humanities work in our state. We publish a free award-winning magazine featuring Oregon writers and artists. We administer the program for Oregon's Poet Laureate in collaboration with the Oregon Cultural Trust, and along with other customized work and publications. All of our work is focused on helping Oregonians connect, reflect, and cultivate a stronger sense of agency in their communities. So you can find us online on our website at www.oregonhumanities.org. There you can sign up for our newsletters and our magazine, which is free. And you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Oregon Humanities.
Thanks, Lucy. We're going to talk a little bit about our PPGs, our Public Programs Grant. This year, Oregon Humanities is excited to be offering a total of up to $100,000 of public program grant funding. You can apply for awards, individual awards for up to $10,000 to fund a single event or to fund multiple events that are part of a single program. Let's introduce you a little bit to our public program grants, our PPGs. You can find all of the information about all of our grants, including this grant, on our website, which is www.oregonhumanities.org/programs/grants. On this page, you'll also see a couple things that you might want to take a look at. You can see the public program grant listing page, which we'll go over in a minute. But on this page also, you'll see, if you look on the left-hand side, two other things that are helpful for applicants to look at and read while they're thinking about applying. On the left-hand side, you'll see a section called Grant Recipients, which is a list of all past grant recipients that OH has awarded with brief program descriptions. And then you'll also see a section called Grantee Spotlights. This is a more in-depth profile kind of look at some recently awarded programs that we think are really good representations of the kind of work that our awardees are doing and the kind of work that received significant grant awards from us. So check those two parts out before you click on the main link that gets you to the public program grant listing. When you click on that main link, you will see something at the top that states the purpose of the public program grant. This is a really important thing for you to read, understand, and I would suggest returning back to this a couple times while you're writing your grant application is the best tip I have for writing your strongest grant application. The purpose of the public program grant is to support Oregon organizations hosting funding public programs that explore challenging questions and strive for just communities. So again, if you return back to those two parts, the exploring challenging questions and the strive for just communities, if you're answering both of those in your idea that you're proposing for funding, that will give you the strongest application when you're submitting it to us. Our public program grant can fund a wide variety of programs and activities, including community dialogues, lectures, online engagements, storytelling formats that center undertold experiences, or programming that connects to current exhibits, current experiences, culturally specific and intercultural events. We accept applications for multilingual programs, but the grant application and the grant reporting are required to be done in English. The maximum amount a single organization can apply for is $10,000, and this grant requires that you match any grant award amounts that you receive from us with equal or greater amounts from another source. The matching funds could come from another source, need to come from another source besides us, but it can come from money that you raise through donations, from other grants, or through the value of volunteers' labor. Please see our grant listing, and you can see details on how to value your volunteers' labor in order to reach the matching funds requirement. In the grant listing, you'll find all the information that we're talking about today. So if you have further questions, you can either replay the video or you can hop over to the grant listing and you'll find it all there as well. Included in the grant listing, one of the things that you should look at right away is the eligibility requirements for applicants. To apply for this grant, your organization must be incorporated as a nonprofit organization in the state of Oregon or be a federally recognized tribe located in Oregon. Nonprofit applicants must be also registered as a 501c3 organization located in Oregon and be registered with the state of Oregon as a charitable organization. All applicant organizations must be able to complete an Internal Revenue Service, what we all call an IRS W-9 form, in order to receive an award payment from us. And if you're a nonprofit organization applying, you must have an organizational budget under $1.5 million for your most recently completed fiscal year. If you're a federally recognized tribe in Oregon and you're applying for this grant, this organizational budget cap doesn't apply to you. All applicants must have a current unique entity identifier, which we call a UEI number, at the time of the grant application submission. A UEI number is the ID number that the U.S. federal government requires you to have in order to receive federal funding. This grant's funding originates as federal funding from the National Endowment of the Humanities, and then it's passed to Oregon Humanities to distribute as grant funding subawards. So that means that you must include a UEI number in your application in order for your application to be considered by us. Any grant applications that come into us that show information that you've applied for your UEI, but you don't yet have it, will not be considered eligible grant applications for us to consider. If you're unaware whether you have a UEI number or if you had something they called a DUNS, D-U-N-S number, which was the old ID numbering system the federal government used before the UEI system became the new standard in 2 years ago, I think, and you'd like to update, sometimes you would like to update your DUNS to a UEI or just find out if you have a UEI at all, you can visit the federal government's website, which is sam.gov. If you don't already have a UEI number, we recommend applying for it on sam.gov when this grant opens, as soon as you're thinking about applying for it, because it can take anywhere from a couple days, sometimes to a couple months to receive your UEI number. The grant listing on our website has a bunch of information about how to obtain your UEI number. It also has a link to a helpful video that the federal government made about how to apply for a UEI number. If you click on that linked video, it walks you through the process. It's not as daunting as it sounds if you watch that video and just do the steps along with the video. And one thing the video will stress, but it's also important for us to say here today, is that you don't have to do a full entity registration with sam.gov for your organization. There's a shorter way where you're only applying for the UEI number, and you're welcome to just apply for the UEI number if you prefer to do the shorter process. That's all we need is for you to have the UEI number. We don't need you to have the full entity registration. So check out the video and the information in the PPG listing. And if you still have questions after that, feel free to reach out to Lucy or myself, and we'll do our best to assist you or to point you in the right direction at the federal government for folks there who can give you assistance. Some additional eligibility requirements. Eligible organizations are limited to one application per PPG grant cycle. Organizations that have received a grant from Oregon Humanities in the most recent 2 consecutive years are not eligible for this year's PPG. This rule only applies for our regular annual grants, not any COVID emergency grants we awarded. And organizations who have received any kind of Oregon Humanities grant in the past must be in good standing with us, meaning that you must have completed your prior grants that you received properly, including all required reporting.
Okay, so now I'll go over the grant deadlines and timeframes. These are listed on our public program grants webpage as well, so no need to memorize them. So the application opens on Monday, January 8th of 2024. The applications are due Friday, March 8th of 2024 by 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The awards will be announced in early May 2024. The grant period where your funded programs and events must be held is between May 15th, 2024 and May 15th of the following year, 2025. The interim grant report due is Friday, November 1st, 2024, and then the final grant report will be due Friday, August 15th, 2025.
Let's talk a little bit about the types of things this grant funding can fund and the things that it can't fund. Our PPGs can fund a wide range of costs that are typically part of hosting public programs. Here's just a few examples of the kind of activities you can use this funding for. You can use it to pay honoraria for facilitators and featured participants, excluding audience members. You can use it to pay for program and event planning costs, including project planning and management salaries for the project. It can pay for supplies and materials, event space rental costs, labor and technical support for online events, safety supplies for COVID, things like masks or cleaning the space before or after the events, event advertising, ADA costs for things like labor to employ an ASL interpreter. The one ADA cost or the kinds of ADA costs that you cannot use this grant funding for are any kind of capital expenditures. That's not allowed. But other ADA costs that make the program or events that you're hosting more available to more community members, you can use this money for those costs. You can pay language translators to make your events more inclusive of a number of community members. And you can also use this funding to document your program through the production of video, audio, or digital and print publication. Let's talk a little bit about the funding restrictions for activities. Because this grant funding is provided by the federal government through the National Endowment for the Humanities and is a subaward that Oregon Humanities sends out into the community, there's a number of restrictions that apply for the use of this funding that are federal government restrictions. Here's some examples of the kinds of things that you can't use the funding for. You could not use this grant to satisfy matching funds for another federal grant you're receiving. You could not use this funding to host any kind of or do any kind of fundraising activities. This grant can't fund the making or performance of art. However, this grant can fund humanities-focused program activities such as public discussions of art, art history presentations, art analysis, and art appreciation activities, because those are commonly considered to be humanities type activities. If you're looking for arts funding, we would recommend that you check out the NEA and the Oregon Art Commission, because that's where the federal art making and art performance funding happens in the state of Oregon. That's the big federal source. Grant-funded activities cannot promote a particular political, religious, or ideological point of view. It can't advocate for a particular program of social or political action. It cannot promote a political candidate or support a specific public policy or legislation. Please review the link in the public program grant listing on our website that's called Ineligibility Restrictions and Compliance Standards for Grant Awards to see the full list of restrictions. And the grant listing on our website also features an FAQ list that's helpful in answering some questions about what activities this grant can and can't fund.
So here's how to apply for the grant. Applications are done through our online portal on our website on the Public Program Grants webpage. You can work on the application in stages. Just be sure to save before you close the form. At that point, when you want to save and return to it, you'll generate a password to re-access the application. If you're having troubles using that password to re-access your form, you can always email us and we'll get you back in there. So the materials you'll need to prepare and include along with your application are the following. Nonprofit organizations will need to provide a copy of their Internal Revenue Service 501c3 determination letter. All applicants must provide a completed and current Internal Revenue Service or IRS W-9 form. Applicants must have a unique entity ID number, as Dawn mentioned before, or UEI for short, issued by the federal government. And again, you can find your organization's UEI or apply for a UEI at sam.gov. If you're a nonprofit applicant, you'll need to submit a copy of your organization's most recent board-approved and signed organizational budget. You'll also need to fill out the Oregon Humanities provided application form and budget form so we can see how you plan on using the funding and how it fits into your organization's budget and work. And again, the link for that application form is on our website.
We're going to be hosting 2 online help sessions for grant applicants who would like advice or assistance with their public program grant applications. Please attend these sessions if you have questions about the grant, your eligibility for the grant, or you'd like advice about how to write a strong application. These online help sessions are voluntary. You're not required to attend them in order to apply for the grant. And the sessions are pretty informal. It's Lucy and I on a Zoom call with the applicants, and we make sure that there's time in both of these sessions for folks to ask us questions and for receiving feedback from us. And also if they want to bounce ideas off the group in the Zoom room, they're more than welcome to do that as well. We don't record these sessions because we want to make it a session where people feel really comfortable and free to ask budget questions or other idea questions and not have to worry about it being on the web, for everyone to see. So the 2 sessions, the first one is going to be on Tuesday, January 16th from 10 to 11 a.m. And the second one is going to be on Friday, January 19th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. If you'd like a Zoom link to attend either or both of these sessions, please email us at grants@oregonhumanities.org and we'll email you back the link. If you wish to have a one-on-one phone consultation to get feedback on your program's alignment with this grant or to answer any other questions you may have, please email again grants@oregonhumanities.org, or you can request a call with me. Phone consultations are available through the end of February.
So here's how our application review process works. Applications are reviewed by an Oregon Humanities Grant Reviewing Committee, which is made up of Oregon Humanities staff, board members, and community members who have participated in past Oregon Humanities programs. The grant applications are reviewed using a competitive process. The grant listing on our website includes the scoring rubric that our grant review committee will use in reviewing grants and making grant award recommendations to our board. Reading the scoring rubric will help you write a strong application. Our grant review committee will make recommendations on funding award decisions to Oregon Humanities Board, who will review the recommendations and vote on the final award decisions. We're committed to funding organizations across Oregon, knowing that we have limited grant funds to award and that we're committed to funding organizations and communities that have been historically underserved. We have 2 funding priority groups. The first group is organizations based in and led by rural communities, and we define rural as locations in Oregon 10 or more miles from a population center of 40,000 people or more. And our second funding priority group is organizations led by and serving Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color. However, all applications are welcome, regardless of an organization's size, location, leadership, or community. These are funding priority groups. They are not eligibility requirements. In general, we really encourage any organizations new to Oregon Humanities to apply if they meet the eligibility requirements. And if you have questions about your eligibility, please reach out and we'd love to chat with you.
Most definitely. We love helping people figure this stuff out. And we understand that if you're new to applying for grants, if you're new to applying for a federal grant, sometimes going through all the information can look daunting and it can feel like it's overwhelming. So we're here to help. You can reach out to us anytime. You can reach out to us multiple times. We're just here to help you make your way through it and to write the strongest application possible. So I'm going to give the contact information for us one last time. And that is, you can reach both of us through the general grants email, which is grants@oregonhumanities.org. You can reach me personally directly through my email, d.smallman@oregonhumanities.org, or you can reach Lucy directly at l.solares@oregonhumanities.org. You can call me directly at 503-241-0543, extension 110. And we really appreciate your interest in our public programs grant.
Yes, so we're really excited to get this funding out to those around the state doing important community work. And we really encourage you to explore if this funding opportunity is a fit for your organization. If you're unsure about your eligibility, you have general questions about the grant program, or you're new to Oregon Humanities and just want to learn more about this opportunity and even the work that we do, please send either of us a message. We'll be happy to chat with you.
Thanks for watching. Good luck with the application.